Best way to ensure that your crop yield is maximized is to take the necessary steps to properly prepare your soil. But don't worry, we're going to walk you through the 5 things you need to know to make this happen. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of this video where I'll show you one more little thing you can do to bump up the yield on a certain few crops. Hello and welcome to the Farm Bubba channel, where we help you learn all you need to have fun in Farming Simulator 22. Be sure to check out the Farm Bubba channel homepage for more videos, and while you're there, you may as well subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified when a new video is posted. Time codes are listed in the description below where you can go back and replay a particular chapter of interest. And please leave a comment to let us know what topics you would like to see in a future video. Alright then, let's get going. So here we are once again on our Backroads County farm build. The field before us here is an oat field that has withered and it needs some work. First thing we're going to do is get our AI worker to plow this field for us. So we'll go ahead and get him started on that and let him go. The plowing process is going to turn over the top layer of soil about 8 or 10 inches deep. You don't necessarily have to plow after every crop is harvested, but in this case, since this crop was allowed to wither and die, we need to get rid of all of that debris and get it plowed back into the soil. You also need to plow after harvesting root crops such as potatoes, sugar beets, and corn. As you can see, this plowing process is bringing up some stones up to the surface, and there's a couple of different things we can do to deal with those. If we leave these small stones on the field, once we sow our seed and then use a roller over the top of the field, that roller will press these little stones back into the soil and we don't have to deal with them. We go to our map menu here. If we go down here and highlight stones, you can see that it is pulling up some very small ones because they're yellow. If they were orange or red, they'd be big stones. If we go into our shop menu, we can go down here to tools, and then over here is where our stone pickers are. There's a couple little small ones here, but we're going to go ahead and buy this bigger one because it covers a wider area. So we're going to go ahead and let an AI worker start on picking up our stones for us. And they're going to be collected in this machine, and then there's a couple things we can do with them. One thing we can do with our stones is take them to the debris crusher and sell them there. There's also a little production you can buy that will turn your stones into lime. Most of the time I don't deal with the stones, I just keep them turned off in the menu. If we look at our field info here in the lower right hand corner, we can see that this was an oat field and it is in fact withered. It also shows down at the very bottom in blue lettering that it needs lime, and it also said that it needs plowing, and we're working on that right now. So here's a look at the field that has been plowed, and we've also had the stones picked up, and now all it needs is a little bit of lime. This fertilizer spreader here will also spread lime for us. It's important to note that not all of the fertilizer spreaders are capable of spreading lime, so you have to be careful when you go to the shop. So here we are on the shop menu, and we can see that this fertilizer spreader here will only spread fertilizer. This next one here will do fertilizer and lime. So this is why I always buy one of these as opposed to some of these other machines. So we're just going to let our AI worker spread the lime for us on this field. We're going to go ahead and stop our AI worker that's picking up our stones because I believe he is just about full. There he is. He is full because he just stopped. So let's hop into that tractor and we're going to take them and sell them. So here we are at the debris crusher. Let's see how much we get for a wagon full of stones. Oh, about $287. So now that we have our field plowed, we've picked up some of the stones that were left after the plowing, and we've applied a nice layer of lime. Next thing we want to do is run our cultivator over the field. Cultivator is going to do a couple of things for us. Number one, it's going to break up some of the larger dirt clods that the plow has generated on the field. It's also going to mix the lime into the very top layer of soil for us and then smooth everything back out, ready for seeding. So we're going to go ahead and let our AI worker take care of this for us. As you can see, the cultivator is mixing that lime into the very top layer of soil and then smoothing everything out. So if we take a look at our map view again, we can see the red areas that still need to be plowed. We see the stones that are still on the field, and we see that little strip of green there that shows that that part still needs a little bit of lime. Before we start talking about fertilizing, let's look at seeders and planters first. Here in our shop menu under Tools, we see seeders and planters. A seeder will plant most of these grain crops. If we look at our planters will usually plant corn, sunflower, soybeans, sugar beets, and cotton. These couple of machines here will seed and fertilize all at the same time. Something else you'll notice up here too is that a couple of these machines will also seed directly without having to have the field cultivated or plowed. Over on our planters, we see the same thing. This machine here will also seed and fertilize at the same time. There are several different ways that we can apply fertilizer to our fields. We can either use liquid fertilizer, solid granular fertilizer, manure, or slurry, which is liquid manure. If we hop into our shop menu, here we can see these are the fertilizers that we looked at earlier, and we have purchased this one solid fertilizer spreader right here. If we go back up to our vehicles and down to crop protection, we can see here that this is a liquid fertilizer spreader. It also will do herbicides also for weed control. This machine's quite a bit more expensive than our solid fertilizer spreader, but this thing covers a lot of territory. We can also use a manure spreader. All of these machines here are manure spreaders of various sizes and capacities. And we can also use a slurry spreader. I like using this particular spreader because it can do lime and fertilizer both. So let's start our AI worker fertilizing our field. We can see here that the fertilizer spreader spreads a much wider pattern than the lime spreader does. We generally want to put 2 applications of fertilizer on every field. We're putting down an initial application of fertilizer, and when we go to sow our seed, if we use the right piece of equipment, we can lay down a second application of fertilizer as we seed. As you can see in our field info, we have fertilized our field 50%. So there you have it, the 5 things you need to know in order to properly prepare your fields. Plowing, liming, cultivating, fertilizing, and dealing with our stones. If you recall at the beginning of the video, I told you to stay tuned till the end so that I can show you one little thing that you can do to bump up the yield on certain crops. Well, that involves these little guys right here. If you place any beehive close to a field, it will slightly increase the yield of that field. The bees will increase the yield on certain crops such as canola, sunflower, and potato fields. It may not be much of an increase, but it's something you don't really have to work for. The bees are going to do it for you. Well, that about wraps things up for this video. If you received value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more videos and ring the notification bell to be notified when a new video posts. Don't forget to leave a comment with any questions you may have and to let us know what topics you would like to see in future videos. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.